FIFA coming in to build, the training ground and the headquarters for the federation is a part of that plan as well. So yeah, that is the plan for the country as a whole, to try and get Cambodia to the World Cup by 2038.
Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Tanishq Katti here from the Football Digest podcast, and it's great to be here. It's a very special episode for us since we have Mr. Christopher Grant from Cambodia joining us as the chief guest for the podcast episode. How are you, Christopher?
Very good, thank you. Thank you for having me on.
And it's great to have you on the podcast, and it becomes it's a very good, I'll say, a profile to have on the podcast when it's someone like you. So I'll just give a brief as to what Christopher is and what he has done over the past few years in the football industry. So Christopher has a long association with football development, which spans across 2 decades when he started his journey in Scotland, working as an academy coach at various football clubs across the country. His professional career took a turn when he moved to Cambodia in 2015, where he started working as a technical scout for one of the top clubs in the country, before setting up his own initiative called as the Elite Soccer Coaching Cambodia, which focuses on the grassroots development of football in the country. Currently, Christopher is working as the general manager of Preah Reach Svay FC, who are the champions of the league this season thanks to his contributions. And they have also reached the AFC Challenge League final, where they finished as the runners up. His role also includes being a technical committee member of the Football Federation of Cambodia, which shows the trust placed in him in his qualities by the National Federation. So welcome again, Christopher. And what are your thoughts? How does it feel to be on the podcast?
No, thank you again, and thank you for the nice introduction. No, pleasure to be here. It's always a privilege to be invited into podcasts and have a conversation about football.
Yeah, and definitely it becomes it's a very good, I'll say, initiative which has been taken up by you as well in Cambodia. And can we just know what your life history has been? Just a brief history, because I might have said it in one paragraph, but it's taken you 20 years to be where you are. So can you just tell us something about yourself?
Sure, sure. So yeah, it has been a journey, as you summarised. Starting back when I was 15, I left high school and went to college to study sports coaching with sports development. Spent multiple years in college, and started doing my coaching badges with the Scottish Football Association. That then led me to start to work in professional club academies, under 12s, under 13s, under 14s. And I spent multiple years working with a total of 3 different professional clubs in their academies, and also started doing some coaching with the Scottish Football Association School of Football programme. Um, so, yeah, many, many years in Scotland working, as you mentioned, in grassroots and youth development. And then, yeah, I moved to Cambodia. 12 years ago now, which is unbelievable for me to say. It's went so fast. And yeah, currently the general manager of Preah Sway FC. But my journey here started with another club called Phnom Crown. Again, I was also working in their residential academy with their under 14s and doing opposition scouting for their senior team as well. So I spent about 18 months at the football club. And on the side, I'd also started elite soccer coaching Cambodia, to try and support the development and growth of grassroots and youth football in Cambodia, which even to this day is still a challenge, and needs further support, and more opportunities for kids to play grassroots football and to have more organised youth competitions to support the development of these young players. And yeah, the current role, Swarian, we were introduced the club and myself through a mutual friend, and they were looking for someone to come in and help support the development and next stages of the football club. So I met with the CEO at the time, and yeah, we had a good conversation and joined the club. And yeah, 8 years later, I'm still here with the football club. But it's been a fantastic journey. We are back to back champions of the Cambodian Premier League. As you mentioned, we got to the AFC Challenge League final, which was historic for the football club and for the country. unfortunately missed out on winning the first international competition for our club and for Cambodian football in extra time against Akabad from Turkmenistan. And tomorrow, actually, we have the Hun Sen Cup final, which is like the FA Cup. So last year we won the double, the league and the cup. This year we've won the league and are in the cup final again. So we're hoping to try and make some more history tomorrow and be back-to-back double champions, which would be some achievement.
Yeah, I mean, so that means that you were on for a travel this year.
Yes, treble, yeah, because we won the Super Cup at the start of the season, which for people who are listening is very similar to the Community Shield that they have in England, the league and the cup winners, kind of starting off the season. So yeah, we won the Super Cup and the league already, and fingers crossed, we can win the final tomorrow. But we know anything can happen in finals. They're 50-50 games, so fingers crossed we have the luck and have the performance that we need to get the trophy.
Yeah, when it comes to football, football is a very unpredictable sport, and that too at the elite level. But there's a question which many people might already have, and it makes me also wonder that you were in the, I'll say, in the top leagues in Scotland and England. What made you, and what was the thinking behind moving to Cambodia? Because Cambodia, I'll say, in the in I mean being a football fan, I have myself not been that involved in Cambodian football. But what was the reason that changed your opinion and made you move to Cambodia? And I understand what the developments have been made, which is remarkable, which has been done by you for the club as well as for the national federation. But what was the reason behind moving to Cambodia?
Well, yeah, I always get asked that question. People are always interested in how does a Scotsman end up in working in professional football in Cambodia. Um, I always had an aspiration to try and coach abroad. Obviously, my entire career was all based in Scotland, and I was coming to Cambodia for multiple years due to my dad. He moved here back in 2005, so naturally, just coming to visit him on holiday, and I was coming, one time a year. While I was still doing, my career back home in Scotland, and each time I kept coming to the country, I really enjoyed the lifestyle. The weather was nice and warm compared to Scotland. The people were very welcoming. Football, 15, 20 years ago here, there was a league, there was clubs, but nowhere near at the level it is now in terms of its professionalism. So I felt, having come so many times, why not try and come to Cambodia and see if I can help and bring my experience to Cambodia. So that's what I did. And yeah, that's how the move happened. I didn't come here with a job. I came here just on my own. I set up the elite soccer coaching and then started to connect with football clubs. And yeah, ended up working with Pompey Crown, like I mentioned earlier. And through that, just being here on the ground and working in football, your network grows, your connection grows, people know more about you, and it's just evolved year on year. My role and capacity within professional football in Cambodia.
Yeah, when it comes to Cambodia, have been following Cambodian football, and I saw that in the AFC Challenge League final, there were 53,000 spectators who had watched that final. I mean, when it comes to India, that's a big achievement, and India is a big country because we have the population and everything. But getting 53,000 people in to watch a football match is itself remarkable. So well done to your, I'll say, the achievements which you have done, and well done to the ecosystem that you are trying to create in Cambodia. Now, as you mentioned that the weather, there is a lot of the people are very welcoming. So how's your life in Cambodia basically as a, I'll say, as a general manager of a professional Cambodian club? What is it that what's your day-to-day routine?
Day-to-day routine is me going to the training ground in the morning. Start to meet with all the heads of our departments across the football club. see what we have to plan in the coming days, weeks, and months ahead, see what challenges we have now, things that we have to deal with immediately. And then when the coaching staff start to arrive, I'll obviously catch up with our head coach, see if there's anything that he needs from the club to support, the daily training, the games coming up, talk about plans, recruitment. So yeah, to be honest, it's very, very diverse, and that's why I love the job that I'm doing. Is that every day is different. Every day presents a new challenge, hard and easy challenges, but many different. And the club's been growing and evolving every year. So we have a full-time men's team, we have a women's team, we've started a residential academy, we have under 14s, under 16s, under 19s. We have a football school, we built a training ground, we have our own stadium. So we've got many, many aspects of the football club. Of course, all the departments, media, marketing, administrative, finance, all of these kind of things that my role, I have to oversee the entire project. So yeah, day to day is busy, but very different and very rewarding, and being able to touch every aspect of our football club across all the departments is something that I really love doing.
Yeah, so that means everything runs from you and by you, to be very honest.
Yes, I mean I am involved in everything, but in our football club, we have a very strong culture in terms of everyone communicates together. We discuss everything, and it's a collective. It's not me solely making decisions. It's not the head coach solely making decisions. It's not other people solely making decisions. We've built a culture within the club that we are one and we are together. We challenge each other. We discuss ideas, and collectively we decide which is the best thing for the football club. And that's the way that we work, and it's been very successful for our football club. But I think it's the right way to work as well, that everybody feels part of what we're trying to do.
Yeah, and when it comes to the, as you mentioned, that these are the your duties as a general manager for the club, but it's also great to see that you are part of the Football Federation of Cambodia as a technical committee member. So can you just explain what are your roles in the Football Federation?
Yeah. So it's a new role. 3 years ago, the Cambodian Premier League separated from the federation and became a private entity. So it's now running as a private company. So the role is between the Football Federation and the Cambodian Premier League. There was a committee set up um, to still have the two organizations aligned, but to discuss all technical matters. How do we improve the league? How do we make it better? How do we make it more attractive? What should our rule be on foreign players? We've had rules in the past for Southeast Asian players, and we now have a new rule that has came in because players have started to be naturalized and been given Cambodian passports. So it's talking about the technical aspect of this and trying to manage that. It's in the best interest for Cambodian football. We talk about youth development, youth leagues, women's leagues. So it's very much looking at the whole ecosystem, but very much on the football development side of things and reviewing things that we're doing. How can we make it better? What are we not doing? What can we implement to keep pushing Cambodian football forward?
And you have been part of this ecosystem for, I'll say, approximately what, 15 years now, or 10, or almost a decade.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So what are the, I'll say, what are the achievements of Cambodian football? Because we have seen we have seen countries like Hong Kong making strides in Asia. We have seen countries like Japan, South Korea, etc. I mean, India is way behind right now. But the developments that I've seen in Cambodia, and you being a big part of it, could you just mention some of the, I'll say, achievements which have taken place over the years?
yeah. I mean, there's a lot, and I think there's a lot of small achievements, more than anything. Big grand achievements. Um, I think when I first started, um, many years ago, a lot of the clubs were sharing the national stadium as their home, And I was working as a technical advisor many years ago as well, for the Cambodian National Competitions Committee. And we implemented an initiative to try and push clubs out of the capital and stop sharing the national stadium. So clubs then moved into other provinces. And over the years, we've seen clubs now invest in the province by building stadiums. So it's made the game more national, which I think is a big achievement. Having more provinces having a professional football club, building a generation of fans, and investing in youth development stadiums. So that this is a big thing that I think was massive for Cambodian football at the time. Um, I think just in general, the overall standard and professionalism of Cambodian football, whether it be in academy systems, whether it be in the club as a whole, whether it be actually in the Cambodian Premier League itself, trying to um, align professional standards along with other countries in the region as well. So um, yeah, there's not one single thing I can say in terms of being achievement. It's every year it's just small gains in terms of the overall ecosystem improving, the youth development improving. Women's football is now growing and starting to have leagues every year over the past few years. A lot of clubs now investing into infrastructure. Our club ourselves, we built the first purpose-built training ground for a club. There's another club that has now built a training ground as well. As I mentioned already, clubs have been investing in other infrastructure like stadiums, and a lot more investment into staff as well. More foreigners are coming into the league to support the development. Are more so on the technical side, but there is some other foreign general managers and management staff that are also working in clubs. So I think it's a collective, to be honest. There's a real kind of family sense within Cambodian football that we're all together, and we're all in it to try and improve Cambodian football as a whole. So we all work very closely together to try and keep moving standards forward. And I think I just seen a couple of days ago that the Cambodian Premier League just released some data to show the growth of the game. So I can share some of the data with you. So just in terms of its reach on social media, I think back in 2022 it was around about 3.5 million. For this season, it's just finished. The reach was 18 million. Stadium attendance has also grown. Back in 2022, the overall attendance for the league was about 112,000. This season's just finished, and we just almost reached 200,000. So this data is starting to show that people are engaging with the league more, with the clubs more. People are coming to the stadiums more as well. So I think collectively there's many things going on the ground, which is very good. And we can see that Cambodian football as a whole is benefiting and improving.
Yeah, and you mentioned something about the residential academy,
Yeah.
that your club has a residential academy. So can you just walk me through, because grassroots football plays a massive role when it comes to developing countries in football. So can you just mention there some details regarding the residential academy as to what are the pathways that the club has created? What are the way forward? When an athlete turns elite or turns pro, what
Mhm.
are the ways which an athlete can develop, not just in Cambodia but in also the other countries?
Yeah. So it's a very new initiative for our football club. We only started the residential academy in September last year. Um, but what we did was we started with the youngest generation. So there was under 13s last year. So there's 25 provinces in Cambodia. Our technical staff in the academy went to every single province and ran trials. In total, we had about 1,200 kids that participated in the trials, and we did a three-stage selection process. Obviously, first stage going to the province, second stage then bringing them to the training ground, and then the third stage again at the training ground for the final selection. So we went through a recruitment process to try and identify the best talent that we could find across the country. We've selected 28 players that are part of our now under 14s residential academy, and as a club, we took on guardianship of these kids. So, along with the government and the ministry and the parents, we signed legal guardianship documents that the kids would come and live with us. We would effectively be their guardians. So we send them to school. We obviously house them at our training ground. We have full-time chef that is managing their nutrition, so they're getting 3 meals a day. They have their football program as well. We hire a English tutor to come into the training ground 4 or 5 times a week to do English classes with the kids as well. And we also have a full-time social worker that lives on site as well to help manage the welfare of the kids. So yeah, it's a new program. It's a big program. So far, it's been running fairly smooth, which is great. The team is just about to start their first competition, the Cambodian Youth League. So great for them to be part of this and part of their development. But the aim of us doing the residential academy is to try and build the next generation for the football club. So it's a long-term plan. It's a long-term investment. We hope, look, we all know in football that not everyone will make it, but we're hoping that we can try and get a core through the academy, which will then formulate the core of the senior team in years to come. And also in the background, we're starting to see if we can try and work on a player trading model for the football club as well. With having the residential academy, it allows us to have more contact time with the kids, so we can work holistically around them on and off the field, and to try and see if we can develop the best athletes and players that we possibly can to potentially sell on in the future. Yes, for a return on investment for the club, but also just to try and push Cambodian football forward. That if we can have more players playing in other international countries, it raises the profile of Cambodian football and it raises the level of Cambodian football as well. So this is also an area that we're looking to try and achieve from the residential academy.
And it's a very interesting question which I have, because I've also been in the football management field, not as long as you. I'll say it's 1/10 of what you have been doing in the football ecosystem. But there is a challenge when it comes to going to a new country or going to a new environment, and it is that you have to break the mindset. You have to
Yes.
change the mindset which the local community has or the local people have with regards to a sport, not just football but any other sport. So how were you able to change that mindset and bring that professionalism, as you have mentioned before? How were you able to do that, I'll say a decade ago?
To be honest, I've been very lucky that I've landed in Cambodia because they're very open-minded. They do welcome, foreigners coming in to try to support. Um, I've been very cautious that I'm not coming with all the answers. I've been learning while I've been here from locals as well. I don't know everything. Uh, but yeah, as I mentioned, that they are very open-minded. They do want to improve. They do want to get better, and there is a hunger to succeed and grow. So I think that's the most crucial point. If I went into a country and it was a bit more closed-minded, and there was, a difficulty to try and build relationships and try and share ideas, then you get stuck, and you're unable to kind of put my 2 cents in and able to work collaborative together. But this is not the case in Cambodia. They are very open, and they do want to improve, and they do want to get better. So yeah, as I said, I've been very lucky to have landed here with that environment.
Well, I believe all the pieces have fallen perfectly for you
Yes, they
over the
have.
past few
Thankfully,
years.
yes, yes, yes.
And when it comes to Cambodian football, I have seen that in the FIFA rankings, they're somewhere in the 150s or something
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
You are not far away from India. But I mean, see, is since Cambodian football is growing with leaps and bounds, but there are bound to be many. I'll say there are going to be many difficulties. There are going to be some hurdles which are still needed to overcome. So can you just give us a brief as to what are the hurdles which Cambodian football has been facing over the past few years and what it will face in the next few years?
Look, whenever there's development required, there's investment that is needed. And this is the biggest challenge. Now obviously, COVID didn't help any country around the world. and I think Cambodia has been a little bit slower to recover economically after COVID. It's only recently that it's felt that things are getting back to a little bit normal pre-COVID. So I think that has been the massive challenge, and it will continue to be a massive challenge in Cambodia. Is to try and get more investment into the game to help continue to accelerate the development forward. Um, Recently, FIFA and the Football Federation just announced a new deal that FIFA are going to be providing investment of $5 million, which is huge for Cambodian football. And this 5 million will be going to build a new training facility for the national team and headquarters for the national team as well. At the moment, the national team don't have their own training facility. They actually use club facilities, so they don't have a home, so to speak. So I think this will be a huge step forward for Cambodian football, that they're able to have a base. When they do camping, they have their own facility. I've learned from first experience that when I joined Sway, and we didn't have a training ground, we were renting fields. And when you rent the field, you only have an allocated time. You start this time, you finish this time. You don't have any facilities there. You don't have a gym. You don't have offices. All of these things. When we opened the training ground for the football club, it's been absolutely massive what that's done to our football club, because we are then able to try and build a culture, because we're all working in the same environment. We can have more contact time with the players. We have a gym, we have full-time chef, we have offices, we have medical rooms. It's just elevated the football club onto another level, and it's helped accelerate our development as a club. And I'm hopeful that now that the federation and the national team will have a home, that this will also help drive better standards, better culture, within the federation and the national team as well. So I think that this is going to be an exciting thing for Cambodia. But yeah, to go back to your question, investment finance is always going to be the biggest challenge, because there's still many things that have to be done here, across all levels, to keep improving Cambodian football.
Yeah, and when it comes to football, I mean, and football clubs in general, we have seen that uh, clubs basically have a mentality. They have a philosophy when it comes to the playing style, when it comes to the I'll say, when it comes to the basic requirements which are expected from the players. So being the general manager, I believe you are the one who is setting up the philosophy and the tactical, not the tactical aspect, but you might have some inputs in terms of the how do you envision your players to play. So can you just explain, is it the tiki taka football or is it the gung ho football which Jurgen Klopp has?
No, it's a good question, and it's something that internally in the football club we have started to work on over the last couple of years. The football club, even before I joined, was a very possession orientated club. It was already ingrained in the club and the players. That hasn't changed, even to this day. We've obviously, over the years, we've been adding other layers, other technical, tactical layers to the style of play. I think that as a football club, we're now very close to the style of play that we want. So we're actually working internally at the moment to put that style on paper, so to speak. What is it? What are our key principles when we're attacking, when we're defending, in transitions? What do we want to do? So we've been working on that over the last couple of years. And then what does a Swadian player look like? Whether it's a right back, what does a right back look like? Whether it's a number six or a striker. Um, so to be honest, it's an ongoing process. It's not a static document. It's not a static philosophy. Football is an ever evolving game, of course. New ideas are coming out all the time. So we're continuing to constantly update it, but we're trying to just have core principles that in essentially won't change too much. And it's something now that we have the residential academy that we want to then transfer that into the academy. So the players are coming through the academy system knowing the Swabian way, knowing the principles of how we play in and out of possession and what we're looking for, so that the transition from academy to senior team is as easy as it possibly can be in terms of the methodology of what we want to do.
Yeah, and since you have been on the coaching side as well previously, I'll just ask a simple question. Whom do you prefer as a manager, Pep Guardiola or Jurgen Klopp? I mean, the profiles.
It's a hard question, but no, I think Pep Guardiola is well. They're both geniuses in their own way, but I think Pep Guardiola is possibly on another level, just in terms of his style of play, but he always rebuilds squads as well. The squads are always improving. And yeah, I mean, everybody loves to watch his football teams with the football that they play. So yeah, if I had to choose, if you forced me, then yeah, probably Guardiola. Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I'm a Jurgen Klopp fan, but
Yes.
never mind. So, when it comes to, as you have mentioned, that finances play a big role, and investments and everything, do play a big role in the future prediction and future projections of any organization, not just football, but any organization. So, where do you see your club as well as the Cambodian football ecosystem developing in the next, I'll say, 5 to 10 years? Because every country has their own goal.
Mm,
Like in India, we have a goal of a vision 2047. It's basically the 100-year vision of independence, and that is the time where we want the country to be developed by the most. Okay, and when it comes to football, we also have various other visions. You have Saudi Arabia with a 2030 vision.
mm.
So, can you just give me a brief as to the what are the visions of the Cambodian Football Federation, and do we have something like that in place right now?
Yes, there is. The Cambodian Football Federation have a vision of 2038 of Cambodia getting to the World Cup. So very, very ambitious plan, but I think you have to reach for the sky. You have to reach for the stars. So the vision is to try and get there. So all the clubs, along with the federation, are now trying to align as much as we possibly can to help achieve that goal. Whether it's through us investing in the residential academy, which hopefully can develop players for that in the future. FIFA coming in to build, the training ground and the headquarters for the federation is a part of that plan as well. So yeah, that is the plan for the country as a whole, to try and get Cambodia to the World Cup by 2038.
And when it comes to yourself, because you have been in the football industry for the past 20 years, so where do you envision yourself moving? So would you be moving on from the Cambodian football, or would you be staying there and maybe someday be the president of the football federation? So where do you see yourself as well? Because if the association has a vision, you yourself might also have a vision or a goal in your mind. Where do you see yourself?
To be honest, having been in football for so long, nothing is ever certain. So, you never know what's round the corner. I could be out of a job in 12 months if we're not successful as a football club. I mean, who knows? So I tend to not think too far ahead, to be honest. I'm one of these people that is just day to day. Focusing on, of course, as a football club, yes, we're thinking, long term plans and what we want to try and achieve, and that's normal. But in terms of me and what I want to achieve, of course, like everybody, you want to try and achieve and get to the highest level you possibly can. What that highest level is depends on opportunities that come my way, and people think whether I'm the person that can help their football club or league or federation. Um, so for me, it's just continuing to work hard every day, continuing to invest in the project that we're doing here in Sway and try to keep bringing success to the football club and to Cambodian football, and let's see what happens in the future.
It's great to hear. It's great to hear what you have done for the association, what you have done for the club, and it's also great to hear that Cambodia as a country is dedicated to moving forward with football as one of the top priority sports. And before we end this episode, I don't ask this question normally. I haven't asked this question to anybody, but seeing the journey that you have been, what would be your recommendation to the, I'll say, the up and coming sports professionals or up and coming football professionals, and what would be your advice to how do they achieve their goal? Because I believe the goal that you had in mind, you have basically been and you're doing what you had in mind. So how do you, and what would be your advice to these professionals who want to achieve their goal? What would be the best advice from your side?
Well, one thing that I wasn't initially very good at, I'm quite a reserved person, so I didn't initially like it. But it's something I've been working on personally over the years is to be very proactive in networking. Go out there, build relationships, ask questions, visit clubs. I find LinkedIn very powerful for connecting with people as well. So I think it's incredibly important to build a network, to build a presence, make sure people are aware of who you are and what you're doing. And don't be afraid to ask questions to people because I found that in the football world, people are actually very open. I've connected with people all over the world now in football, and I can drop messages, pick up phone calls to just ask a question and seek advice. And there is a lot of people out there that do want to help. So, yeah, a big thing for me would be active, be on social media, build a network, build connections, and seek any opportunity that you possibly can, even if it's voluntary, just to get yourself in the door, building experience, building relationships, putting on your CV. Football is it's a very difficult industry. It's not easy to actually get into football, and number one, to stay in football and be progressive career wise. So this is why I think the networking is incredibly important. And to never stop learning for me also is a big thing. I'm constantly doing courses, whether it's with AFC, whether it's with Johan Cruyff Institute. Um, I'm constantly trying to learn and pick up new ideas and pick up new things. Sometimes it's just refreshment as well. It's things that I already knew, but yeah, I haven't thought about for a few years, and it's just refreshing me, or there's new trends that are coming out. So, um, yeah, overall for me, networking, building relationships, seek any opportunity you possibly can, even on a voluntary basis, and continue to absorb and learn as much as you possibly can.
Thank you so much for the great advice, and the listeners would be very interested in what you have shared with us in terms of your personal goals, your personal life, as well as your professional life when it comes to Cambodia. And thank you so much for being a guest speaker on the podcast. It's a very special episode for me personally because I never thought that a general manager of a club would be having a chat with me when I started with this podcast. But thank you so much for being a part of this journey with me. And I hope one day when either I visit Cambodia or when you visit India, we can have a physical chat and just get to exchange ideas, and let's see how we can work together on certain projects. Definitely. All right. So
Sure.
this is Dr. Tanishq Katti here signing off from the Football Digest podcast. And do hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much. Bye bye.